show you how to make your own mayonnaise. And you may be like, why am I going to make mayonnaise? Because there's plenty of mayonnaise at the store in jars that I just have to go to the grocery store and buy. But the thing is that those mayonnaise are really synthetic and filled with sugar, and it's a completely different taste than what a homemade mayonnaise tastes like. So once you do your own mayonnaise, it's like a revelation. So we're going to show you this. If you're using this for the ham salad, be careful on the salt. Actually, I wouldn't even salt it because it's going to be so much salt in the ham that you're going to add the salt in at the end. So if you're doing for the ham salad, no salt. But if you're using this for sandwiches, they're a little hard-boiled egg, salt away. Alright, this is going to be just a little over 200 milliliters. If you need more mayonnaise for whatever, double the recipe. Okay, so we got 2 beautiful eggs. It's like I was never away. So, you got these really beautiful colors. I see Rachel Allen. It's so beautiful. Oh, it's so gorgeous. So I'm going to dump these in. Now, a lot of chefs and people will say that they use the food processor to do this, and you can do that and it's easy, but I like getting my hands into it, and there's something very nice just about whisk, whisk, whisk. And my son likes to help me with a 2-year-old with a whisk and a lot of oil. That is very interesting, I can tell you. So, the thing is, we're going to add in mustard. And mustard is going to, it's a Dijon mustard, and it's going to act as a stabilizer to the mayonnaise. Because sometimes when you're making your own mayonnaise, the oil can split. People are going to talk about splitting. Shetel just pointed out before he's going to beat me, that's about temperature, which is true. A lot of people put their eggs into the fridge. And when you do that and you bring the eggs out and they're very cold to make your mayonnaise, and maybe the mustard's a different temperature, that's one way that things split. Or if you've made your mayonnaise and you haven't stabilized them enough and then you put them into a cold fridge and you come back later, then you might find it a little split. It's just like it's kind of gooey and it looks like the oil has separated from the eggs, which is what's happened. So I will show you a way to fix that though, if that happens to you, but that's after. Right, so the stabilizer, mustard. So I have a lot more mustard than some people will put into their recipe because it is such a stabilizer, and it works really well for unsplitting, desplitting, not splitting. What is that? I should have a little spatula. Alright, so I'm going to put the mustard into there. Merry freaking Christmas. I shouldn't say that in case you're making mayonnaise when it's not Christmas. Right, so that's 1.5 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. And you want to try and get a nice Dijon mustard. We've got this one, Edmond Fallot, product of Fallot. Shetel says Fallot.
Fallot.
Oh, don't beat me, I can't say my French right. It's that one. It doesn't have, all the additives and whatnot, but it's the nicest one, he says. But if you don't have that in Zanesville, Ohio, go to Kroger's and get Dijon mustard that you can find. It's fine. Okay, so what we do is we're going to whisk those together. Just want to get that really stirred together. A little air in it. Nice. And here's the fun part starts. This is where my 2.5-year-old really gets into it. So we've got 200 milliliters of, I'm going to use sunflower oil. You could use canola oil. The thing about this is it's a neutral oil that doesn't have a strong taste. Some people kind of like to mix oils. They might put a little olive oil together with sunflower oil or peanut oil. That's, experiment. That's up to you. I mean, I wouldn't use maybe a walnut oil, or I wouldn't do all olive oil. But if you want different types of taste, experiment with that. But for this, we want a neutral taste because we're going to put it into our ham salad. So this is sunflower oil. So 200 milliliters, which sounds like a lot, but people, you're getting it in your mayonnaise anyway at the store, so just ignore it. So What we're going to do is we're going to dribble at the beginning the oil into the eggs, and then we're whisking that in. Just dribble, 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 until you get the ratio of oil to as high as the ratio of your egg and mustard. And then after that you can start adding more. It's a little safer to do. So, and then if you're using the food processor, you've whisked it up in the food processor and you're just kind of dribbling it down through the hatch in the top. So, bring that in. Yeah, beautiful. Gorgeous. And more. Or if your bowl is steady, you do like this. The bowl is steadier than I am, people. Usually my son starts flinging the whisk around at this stage, and I'm covered in egg yolk. So now I put in a little more because it started to reach the same level as the yolks and the mustard, so it's safer. And then it's really starting to look like mayonnaise, except it's not white like you see in the store. It's a lovely egg yolky mustardy color. It's what real mayonnaise looks like. Now, this is where you start to go and look and use your own judgment as to how thick you want it. Some people like it not as thick, it's a little runnier. But when you're going to put in either vinegar or lemon juice, you've got to remember that it's going to dilute it a little. So you might put it a little thicker than what you would want, so that when you put the vinegar or souring agent, it'll come out just right for you. But that's something that comes with a little practice. And I'm just going to dump that in. So if you like it like cement, put a little extra oil in. But that's generally the consistency I like. Also, if you're going to use it to put it into a salad of some sort, you want it thicker because the salad ingredients will make it a little runnier and dilute it a bit. So there, it's got a beautiful mayonnaise. How long did it take to whip those? Nada. So, the next thing, the most important thing is I'm going to use apple cider vinegar. You could use white wine vinegar, you could use lemon juice, anything to kind of give it that nice sour taste for that. So I'm using a tablespoon and a half, same amount as mustard I was using. So. Woo! Crazy! See, that's made it quite looser, which comes out just about right. So keep that in mind. So now, it's important to do the tasting. I'm sure that I'm going to get plenty of health safety codes from this one. Very nice. Salt. I'm going to say half a teaspoon because it's pretty sour right now. But you got to taste it. You got to, judge to yourself how it's going to be tasted. I'm going in again. I'll use a fresh finger. Pretty good. I'm actually going to put a little more salt in. Right, people, I'm sorry, I was drinking before. 1 tablespoon of vinegar is probably enough, but that's up to you. It depends on how much you've been drinking in the week. Alright, so that's good now. Oh, lovely, lovely. So the last step then, really, is the cayenne pepper for a little dash of, I'm not going to say mingling, a little dash of zest. I could tell you like 1/8 of a teaspoon, but I usually just do a few shakes and whip it in, so you don't want crazy. You're not doing a chili bake-off in your mayonnaise. Chili cook-off, there. And blend it in. So, your mayonnaise. Give it a try, people. Not so bad. If your mayonnaise decides that it's got to divorce itself and separate in the fridge, there is a way to save it. What you do is almost the same method. You take 1 egg yolk into a bowl, and then you whip it in, and you might want to put a little more mustard, because maybe that's what was off in the first place, but that's up to you. Whisk it, and then just slowly start to add the split mayonnaise, just like you've done with the oil here. And once you've reached past the egg yolk status, you can start putting more in. It's just the same method, and you'll see it start to thicken up and thicken up, and Bob's your uncle. So I hope that